Hi, and welcome to Ripples. That's the title of a new book by former minister Norman Stolpe. This is one of a series of videos about that book, which is a collection of short stories. They're heartwarming, they're inspiring, they're thought provoking, and there's something that you want to read again and again and give to your family and friends. I'm BJ Austin, former reporter for public radio in North Texas, and with me is my former pastor here at Central Christian Church in Dallas, Texas, Norman Stolpe. Norm, welcome on a stormy, rainy day.
Yes, well, it is indeed good to be here with you
Thank
and be
you.
thinking about these stories together.
Thank you. Yeah, there are so many of them that I love, but there's one I want to delve into and kind of get the story behind the story and talk about the ripples that this experience created. You and I were both teenagers and young adults during the Vietnam era, and I know we both had friends who went to Southeast Asia and didn't come home. We had other friends and acquaintances who came home wounded physically and psychologically. And being Vietnam generation people, it shows up in our lives even today
Oh, sure.
with the way we react to certain things and the way we think. And your story of the Vietnam era was one that you were a little reluctant to share until one day, one Veterans Day uh, weekend, you and your two oldest sons went to the wall. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I had been in Washington on business a few times and had opportunities to do some sightseeing and whatnot between times then, but I specifically avoided going to the wall. It just seemed like that was going to be too painful for me. But when we made that trip on that very snowy Veterans Day, as a matter of fact, John and David were in junior high and in high school and getting some of this history in school and were asking me questions. And so I said, okay, we have to go to the wall, and we'll look up the names of a few of my friends, people I knew that are on the wall.
Well, that's a part of the story that you write so touchingly, and you capture the angst of the past and the history lesson of the present for the boys. Would you read a section of that?
Surely, after walking the length of the wall, taking in the magnitude of the number of names, John asked, "Did all of these people die in the war?" "Yes," I answered, "but these are only the Americans who died. The names of those from other countries and the people of South and North Vietnam who died are not here. More of them died than Americans." John's focus returned to helping me find my friends' names on the wall. As we found each one, I told John a little about what my friends were like in high school. That's when John said, "Dad, do you mean you actually knew people who died in the Vietnam War? I thought it was just history." Yes, I knew them. And yes, it is history, but at the time it was not that, but what we were living through. History is about people, whether they lived just a few years ago or centuries ago. At the time, they weren't thinking about what would go into your history books. They were just trying to figure out how to live the best they could every day, just like you are doing right now.
Wow. What were the ripples, the immediate noticeable ripples for the boys?
Well, I think suddenly taking in that this was not abstract, that the boundary for them between fiction and history was not clear. And they started to see that, oh, history was real people doing real things, and they weren't all heroes. They were people just trying to figure out what to do, and they didn't always know what they were doing, but did the best they could.
What was the most profound or the most lasting ripple of that eventual, when you finally went to the wall for you?
Well, for me, it was a kind of coming to terms with that reality and that part of my generation and what we knew growing up and the turmoil that was in our society and how that has colored the way we look at everything now. I mean, as um, military conflicts come up periodically in our own time, uh, I cringe. Uh, I still cringe. Uh,
What does awareness of the ripple effect of these mega worldwide actions and our little daily personal actions and words, what does that awareness, how does that awareness of the ripples change us?
well, I think a part of that is we recognize that our own lives come because we got through certain things in a certain way, and then particularly war reminds us that not everybody made it through. And so I have children, I have grandchildren, but some of the people I went to high school with never had spouses, never had children, never had grandchildren.
Norm, thank you very much. Thank you for this story. If you would like to buy a copy of Ripples, Norm Stolpe's book, you may do that at normstolpe.com. That's Norm, STOLPE.com. And please be sure to check out our additional YouTube videos about the book Ripples.